Yo, 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 what is up, guys? It is Verns back here again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the NBL Round 17 review. Now, as we can see, we put out a 435 and actually went up 2 places to 29 overall. I'm honestly pretty happy with that result. I knew this wasn't a great week from us, and I knew we were going to be in a position where we might be seeing a red arrow, and I was kind of just begging not to see it. So +2 is very welcomed. Back into the top 30, 29th overall. Honestly, very happy with that. If I had to be honest, I kind of shit bricks at the start of this when I opened it and I saw the -600, and I was, oh my, I actually just couldn't believe what I'd seen. But that is obviously the round rank, and not so relevant. 615 for the round doesn't matter too much, so thank the Lord there. Now, before I guess we get into it, I just want to say I hope everyone had a good weekend. Long weekend, obviously Australia Day on Friday. Look, I had a pretty good one myself. I went down to Ballarat with a bunch of mates. One of my mates lives down there, and he always does the hottest 100. So we went down there Saturday morning and listened to it from there. Left at 8 a.m. Got there a bit after 10, and then just vegged out, chilled out, got some drinks, and then honestly within like an hour of the hottest 100 starting, I was already absolutely wrecked. Look, I am a lightweight at the best of times, and I am terrible at beer pong. I'm just really bad at it. I think people get confused thinking my basketball, like everyone thinks Vern's a basketballer, he's got to be good at this. No, that does not transition at all. I am god awful at that, and I don't think I ever win unless it's literally doubles and the other person's hitting all the shots for me, because I can't. I am terrible at that. I'm also terrible in the sense that I know I'm awful, and I grab like 3 of like my double black cans and put them into like 10 cups and lose very quickly. So in like half an hour I've sculled like 3, and as I said, like, I'm a lightweight, so I was absolutely wrecked within an hour. But honestly, had a really good weekend. It was just nice, chilled, relaxing. Honestly, I went to the couch and relaxed for like 3 hours. Everyone kept telling me, go do a tactical vomit. I was like, nah, guys, I'll be fine. Just give me a couple of hours. I'll be back up. And I was. 3 hours later, I was feeling pretty good. Let it all settle, and I got back up and was ready to do the party. A few people at that point were taking a little bit of a nap to try and get through, because, look, it's a long day. I mean, people were still up until like 5 a.m. and as I said, we were drinking before midday, so it was a long one. It was, as I said, really good day, but yeah, just I hope everyone enjoyed theirs. The only thing I didn't enjoy was, I guess, the drive back the next morning, because I was the driver, but it's fine. Pumped a bunch of water before you sleep and wake up, and you're feeling alright enough. But yeah, we'll jump into the actual team and see how it's going. I'm going to have a quick listen back and make sure that I'm sounding okay, because I didn't quite do that. So I'll be back to you guys in a minute. And we're back, guys. Alright, as you guys also probably noticed, I am wearing a hat. I do wish I wore this at the party. I brought it and I didn't put it on. Got a little bit sunburnt, but that's okay. I remember thinking when I originally sat down, like, okay, I'm in the sun, I'll enjoy it for a bit, and then I need to go get my hat. But I said sat down, I was in a hammock, honestly, and I just didn't want to get out, so I'm just getting very sunburnt. And I don't know why I'm wearing it today. I really like my hats in reality. I have a few of them, and I didn't know where they were. We're starting to move house at the moment, so I actually found a bunch of them, and I was like, hey, so that's honestly why I've thrown it on. I was just like, okay. I didn't get to wear it on the weekend, so I'll wear it now, I guess. Awesome. So this other team actually stacked up at the end of the day. Cotton 66. Look, it wasn't too detrimental. The top 1%, 89% of people had Captain Cotton. So it wasn't too detrimental in that aspect. Adam's second game was a little bit disappointing and didn't quite push the score that we wanted. I mean, look, I guess back to Cotton real quick. Obviously, we versed Illawarra, and I thought, looking at the schedule, Illawarra, Sem, that just seems like he's going to feast on them. Last time Cotton played Illawarra, he had a bit of a poor score, but I thought that was because of Cotton being in the slump earlier in the season, where he had a bunch of poor scores before the form sort of got back in check. But it looks like it was more or less Illawarra's game plan rather than him having a slump, because they really locked down on him and really shut him down. Lucky for us, so as I said, second game, 45 points, 2 assists away from a double-double, which could have been an extra 9, And he didn't not give these assists. Players just missed layups. I think it was either Harris or Doolittle that literally got a wide open layup and literally missed it when he fed them the ball. And then Sarr at one point, he just fumbled it between his legs and ended up getting fouled and didn't manage to get the bucket. So a little bit unfortunate there, but I said 89% of the top 1% had him. It's not too big of a deal. It is just for the 10% that didn't have him. They would have been absolutely thrilled. They probably put their money on Creek and they probably got quite rewarded for that. So congrats there. Lamb a little bit unders as well. In reality, Cotton was my highest scoring player. So, like, he was actually the correct captain choice for me. It just was a bit surprising that they were all underwhelming. But yeah, Lamb was a bit underwhelming, unfortunately, I think mainly in that second game. Clark, 64, we take that. Nothing wrong with that. Frolling's 42, we take it in the sense that he scored 15 in game 1. So he's picked up 37 in the net. Sorry, 27 in the next? Yeah, 27 in the next. So we take that. That's fine enough. Humphreys only in the singles, a bit under. Kell on the single, 35, very good from him. Lee, we wish he was on the single because look, he put down 27 in game 1 and -1 in game 2. 3 turnovers and only the 5 Supercoach points, obviously the -1 in total. But he just wasn't good, and this is just not what I expected from Lee. Lee felt so consistent. He felt like that 15 to 20 guy every week, don't worry about it. But he's ended up being an absolute yo-yo where he's coming out doing nothing, and then one game he's going very big to salvage his score. So, that's just, not what I expected from Lee. But yeah, just not a great second game from him, unfortunately, after a really good first one. Gorjak Gak, really serviceable for what we needed. He came in, honestly, priced at 9. He's put out 31 this week, over 40 last week. He's done absolutely brilliant for us. Made like 60k. So just really, really nice. And as much as money's not as relevant, it still is relevant to a degree. We still want to be making money. I mean, players that you're holding season long, like we're going to be holding Froling, Lamb, Clark, Cotton from here on, their money doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter how that fluctuates. But the other players that we're going to be moving in and out of the team, look, Kell and Humphrey, we're going to hold for this week, but then they're gone after that. Their money's still important to a degree because we don't quite have enough where we can just pick whoever we want. We still have to be, we still have to pick our selections with cash in mind because otherwise we can't fit everyone we want. But Harvey did also really well too. I mean, the 45, not bad. We take that. Look, I picked him for the hot hand, and it wasn't quite what we paid for at the end of the day. At his price, he was basically saying 24 points a game, knowing that he averages less than that. But look, the 45, if he does that every week, that's going to be very serviceable on our bench. And look, he's the starting point guard, and he wasn't the greatest in the first half and really picked it up in the second half, which got him a serviceable score for that second game. So look, we take that. That is what it is. Before we jump into anything further, I'm actually just going to go to players here. I am going to go back to round 16, and I'm going to look at the relevant top, 1%. So this is what everyone had last round. I thought that's how this worked. I swear I had done it like this before, but maybe not. Yeah, because that's showing us right now. That's got to be showing us right now. Okay, but that showed us round 15. 16? Okay, whatever. We won't worry about it. I tried my best, guys. I tried my best. I thought that's how that would work, but it did not. I could just edit that out, but you know what? Everyone got to see me play with it and it not work, so that's cool. We're at least just going to click on this and quickly go over, I guess, notable things in the week. Creek ended up massive in game 1, 51 points. Captain is so happy with that. Lowell picked up a good second game, and same with Travers, good second games to get to a massive score. I don't think many people would have been on Lowell, but I actually looked at his run, and his next 2 games are really, really good for him. Just in the sense that New Zealand... Okay, so Sem obviously don't really have their main center. Williams is out, and New Zealand give up massive points to centers too. So in reality, if you brought Lowell in this week, I think that was a pretty good play. Obviously, it was a good play. You got great points off it, but then his final games home, Cairns give up big points as well, and Illawarra gives up big points. He has a great run home for the rest of the season as a center. Damn. That's so good for anyone on it. This was a little bit painful because we all know last week I was considering, do I go Luke Travers and PJC, or do I go Harvey and Lamb. And I think I prioritized Lamb as the main guy that I wanted at the end of the day. And because of that, I didn't end up going for this play. In total, it ended up being quite a fair few points lost. Just because I guess the difference between Travers and Lamb was 18 points there. So 18 points between them. If we include the 15 points difference between Harvey and PJC, it rounds down to 7 points different. 25 points lost this round with this decision. At the end of the day, the reason we didn't go for Travers is because he does have one less game. So it's really, can we make up those points in the one less game that Travers is going to play? So it still may be the correct play. Just this week, it definitely didn't pan out for us and kind of hurt a little. I would have felt pretty good about this. I think it hurt just in the sense that, as I said, we only saw the +2 this week. We know it wasn't a good score. Even if I had a big plus this week, +10 or something instead, I would have felt really good about that. But I think missing Travers kind of hurts in that instance because I didn't get that. And then on top of it, at the end of the day, as I said, if this nets us more total points at the end of the day, if it ends up being a total of 5 extra total points, that could be the difference between one position. And that might be the difference between top 10 and not. But just right now, it does hurt because I know we're -25 on making this play. But that's alright. I mean, look, Cheatham, really good for people. Anyone else on Cheatham, really well rewarded. And Cheatham's not someone that we weren't interested in. Chetham's just, he was kind of still getting back into it. Like we saw earlier in the season when he had some really monster games. I'm pretty sure this was like a single game. He put down the 45 points before he kind of got injured. No, he got injured on game 5. So 45 points, put out 28 in like a half, and then got injured. And we knew Cheatham has a ceiling where he can score really well, and he's someone that we were interested in getting into our team. But he hadn't quite hit that form since returning from injury. So we were being pretty chill with just waiting. But he absolutely dominated this week. And apparently maybe the correct play to go on if anyone did. But for those that were already on him, I know a lot of the Podmasters were because of the Clark incident. Then congrats there. Massive score for them. As I said, PJC went pretty well as well. So yeah, some pretty good scores across the top. I mean, Blanchfield going off as well. So I know, I think Hammer from Inside Fantasy Sport had Blanchfield sitting there and been complaining for weeks about how hot garbage he is. In like the last 3 weeks, he's actually gone pretty fire. So all of a sudden, he's made a bunch of cash, and I think you'll be pretty happy with that. Ty Webster, a little bit of a down game with his form. Will McDowell-White, one that's got to be considered this week. He's kind of coming back in the form. At the same time, it did feel like PJC was in foul trouble a lot of this second game, and yet McDowell-White didn't turn that into Supercoach points. Huckporty, a little bit disappointing from him. Same with, I think, Delhi, who was around here as well. He was on a similar thing. I mean, Shea Illy, not great. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's just the notable things that sort of happened this week. Now, in regards to my trades, what I am going to be looking at is I do want to get out Gak and Adams. Those were always my plan to trade out this week. I actually have considered Cotton and holding Adams just to maybe make a better play this week, but I just don't think it works out. A lot of people going on Magnay, and I think that's honestly the correct play. I would be going on Magnay if I could get a good second player with him, but I can't get a good second player with Magnay. The second I bring in Magnay, I sort of just... There's no good guard to bring in my opinion. The guards are just... They're just not good, and it's not what I want. So I've decided to forgo Magnay, which is probably incorrect. He's got massive... this is a great matchup for him into Cairns and Sixers. They're both teams that give up big points to centers. And then if you're in a position where you need to hold them again the following week, you end up against South Melbourne. So, I'm not going to be in that position, but for anyone that is, Magnay is just such a good buy this week, in my opinion. So, I would be all over Magnay. But it just doesn't work out for me. And because it doesn't work out, I've actually decided to go Jordan Crawford, which a lot of people are probably sitting there going, Verns, are you serious? That man just dropped a 7. Look, I hear you. He has been a little bit dreadful in games where he's dropped 2 and then 7, but both these games at the end of the day were against New Zealand. So that's sort of where he hits his floor against New Zealand. Last time against Cairns, 26, 53 on a double is serviceable, and 29 against Melbourne is fine too. So he is going to be perfectly fine. It just seems to be that New Zealand, I think they just sort of have his number, but he is a bit of a yo-yo with his scores. I'm just going to hope bringing him in this week against Cairns and Adelaide, who give up Supercoach points, that he can maybe string it together for 50 points for us. That would be very helpful, and I would take that. So that's what I'm going to punt on there. And then I'm going to be bringing in Cheatham, because as I sort of mentioned, we want Cheatham at the end of the day. I never didn't not want Cheatham. I just didn't think it was the right time yet, but it looks like he's finally exploded. And now he's put himself into a position where he's got this 2 break even. He's going to be going up a lot in cash, and if we don't get on him now, it's going to be very hard to get on him for the rest of the season. I think putting Cheatham in this position, it puts me in a position where, like, I look at my forwards, and I think they're the best forwards for the run home. Outside of Lee here, I do wish I could have changed Lee, but at the end of the day, with these final 3 games, we have only 2 teams left that are going to play 2 doubles in the 3 games, and that's Illawarra and New Zealand. So having this stacked with Illawarra and New Zealand, it's really going to hold down the fort for this run home. So I'm really happy with that. So I think this is going to be a pretty ideal forward line. Until maybe the last week, I might look at trying to flip Lee if possible, get him up to somebody. Maybe I could get him towards a Delhi or an Illy on the final week when United have their run. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good for the next for this week and next week at least. I'm pretty happy with the premiums there. But we will get Humphrey on field. We will get Kell on field, and Kell will be our captain. He's just probably been the most consistent player. Just really, really good, honestly. And then, yeah, it works out pretty well. We have 3 players on the double, which might not seem like many, and you guys are probably thinking, Vern, that's a bit unders. Aren't you going to have not the greatest week? You're right, I probably won't have the greatest week. But what it means is that I can transition next week. A lot of these people that are putting 5 of these players on their field, stacking their field for a big score this week, go for it. What happens next week, though? You have 2 trades left, you move 2 of them out, and you have 3 guys on their single. That doesn't seem too hot shot. Me personally next week, I'll be able to... Something I did want to actually calculate in, though, was... I guess the point of having people on field. Because as much as you're going to have guys on their singles, there are guys on their singles on the bench. So it's not as important as having guys on their doubles on field this week. So I need to really toss that up this week to see what's really worth more total points at the end of the day. But next week it leaves me in a good position. Transition these guys out. Only have 1 of them left. And then basically everyone's on their double at that point. We already have all these players that are going to be on their double next week outside of the 4 of Humphrey, Kell, Crawford, and Cotton. So if I'm trading them out, 2 of them, then I should be in a position where I only have 2 guys on their singles, 1 of them being Cotton, who's been super reliable, and pretty good matchups on those singles as well. So I feel pretty good about that. I think, as I said, Cheatham maybe running away with money is pretty valuable too. If I don't get on him now, I'm going to have to pay an extra $20,000 next week for him, and that could be a big problem. That could be a difference between getting the premiums I want, or if I do end up getting Cheatham, then I have to pay down for someone, and that's probably not ideal. So yeah, this is how the team's looking at this stage. I think it's going to be really good going into the week. We're not going to wrap up the video just here. For anyone that is sticking around, I do want to just go over the leagues. Just because, people that participate in this, just congratulations. I want to show you I want to show everyone how you're doing. So, for Vern's YouTube channel originally, I guess the way that the head-to-heads finished off, it is top 6 that make finals. It was a very close race to 6, but we did see that you needed 10 wins to make the top 6. Very close in that aspect. And then as we saw going into the final series here, it does work that 5 and 6 play in an elimination final and sort of have to run the gauntlet from the word go. So if you've got your team hopefully in a good position, you might be able to run the gauntlet from here. A 453. Christine's clearly got her team working right now. So really nice there. And then a massive, I guess, second chance game here between Gavin and Corey. So that is Corey, the Lady Man Blackledge. Sorry, I just kind of spat on my screen. Whoops. And that is 1 point the difference. Wow, that's crazy. That's so close. I believe technically he would have needed 2 extra points because 1 extra point in a tie, it does go to the person who's higher on the head-to-head. But yeah, 1 point down. What a game. So, look, I'm lucky enough to be taking buys this round as well as Aaron. Gavin also gets a bye. If you guys are playing for leagues at this point, you probably just ignore this round. You don't care about the players on the double, and you just stack your team ready for the round 19-20 plays, and that's how you can set yourself up. Luckily, me being in first, I can't, whoever I verse can't really afford to do that, because they will be putting themselves in a position that if they stack for round 19 or 20, they might just lose 18, and then what's the point in stacking for those rounds if you're playing for leagues? So yeah, Corey versus Christine, gonna be a good one. Looks like it's gonna be another close one. And Corey's put himself in that position where, as I said, he's now in a situation where he's got to run the gauntlet from here. He's got to win the next 3 straight to take it home, and he's got to go through me. So, look, this week Christine would have taken me down, so maybe she's not feeling too scared about going through me. But yeah, awesome work there, guys. And yeah, bottom bracket here too. Not really as close for some of these games, sort of just a few blowouts there, but yeah, congratulations to everyone that made their finals and are winning their games. We'll jump down to the second YouTube league for players here. Once again, finished first, so I just get that nice, cruisy play through the 19, and I get to play somebody who has to worry about round 18, so they don't get to just stack up and play for me. Where we obviously have, fast forward here, I'm going to say Athel versus Andrew here, where they can afford to sort of skip 18 if they're not playing for overall and just stack their team for 19-20. But yeah, another decently close games here, though. Only 40 points between the elimination and about 40 again for the second chance. But Shane versus Peace, going to be a close one. Got to get through me. Got to run the gauntlet again, so best of luck to everyone there. The head-to-head was also quite close. Once again, you needed 10 wins plus to make it to the major. And look, very unfortunate for some people here, because in total points sense, we do have Ball Hogs who fell down to the loser bracket, even though they were doing really well in total points. And that's just how it sort of works out. Same with Steven here, also fell down to the loser bracket. Well, I guess the minor final bracket, because they just unfortunately didn't get enough head-to-head wins, even though they had good total points. So yeah, at least I think the minor final bracket will have some actually good players and should be pretty close, because obviously their total points speak for themselves there. So yeah, I guess that's my leagues, guys. Congratulations to everyone participating, and hopefully best of luck in them this week and for the rest of the final series. I guess I will wrap it up here. Thank you for everyone tuning in. If you do like, subscribe, I appreciate that. I'm obviously going to be getting out plenty of other content throughout the coming year regarding AFL. We will have an AFL stream later tonight. Me, Scobie, and Fantasy Phoenix Chad will be jumping on, so that's going to be nice and exciting there. If you haven't subscribed to the Supercoach Hub channel, go and subscribe to that as well. Or Fantasy Phoenix, our boy Chad, he's been making content on NBL all season. Honestly, really good content from him. He was having a banger of a season, and just like a lot of people sort of got tripped at this Adelaide run earlier in the season, where he's gone for Wiley and DJ rather than Humphrey and Kell. And as I mentioned, a lot of people did sort of fall for that, and I just got a bit lucky in that sense that I could only afford to get 2, and the 2 I wanted, technically Wiley was one of them, but it didn't work for my structure. So then got convinced by Barnsley to get on Kell, and it's just been flying since there. Some people that weren't that lucky and fell into the Wiley and DJ trap, they've sort of been dropping ever since. So really unfortunate for Chad there, who was having an awesome season till that point. But he is still top of the Podmasters. He will be playing in the Podmasters finals, and best of luck to him to get that done. Best of luck to everyone in that Podmasters there. But yeah, sorry, I'll wrap that up. Enough of that. Once again, thank you everyone. I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Later.